But you see what happens when you try to force the perfection is you lose connection with the whole reason you're singing in the first place, the whole reason you write songs in the first place. And that's the emotional connection. That's the humanity, the heart. Welcome to Singer-Songwriter, a space to reconnect with your voice, your music, and the songs waiting to be written. I'm Lainey, singer and songwriter, voice and creativity coach. If you've ever dreamed of writing and singing your own songs, but doubt or perfectionism keeps getting in the way, then grab that notebook full of ideas. It's time to open your voice, trust your sound, and express yourself freely. Your songs are waiting. Let's bring them to life. So I was working with a singer-songwriter in a coaching session recently who was struggling with something that I see over and over again in many of the artists that I work with. And that is this desire to control your voice, to control your sound, to have full control over your instrument so that it sounds polished and perfect. But underneath that is this fear of letting go, of surrendering, almost like you're afraid to unravel and let the music take over. It's this fear of, if I fully go there emotionally with the music, would my technique fall apart? Would I totally lose it on stage? Or would my imperfections show up? So I asked her a question, and I said, what if your technique fell away in the moment? But what was left was emotional honesty. What if what was coming through your voice was pure truth? What would it mean to show up in your raw emotion and imperfect humanity to sing your songs? Emotional connection is why we make music. I told her about the times that my voice cracked and I was on the edge of tears on stage because I was so in the emotion and the meaning of the song. Did my technique suffer? Yeah. But I went there anyway. The technique in that moment was not the most important thing. The heart is the most important thing. And with practice, you learn to find the balance between technique and emotion. And your technique becomes more consistent as you develop your instrument and develop your craft. In my 1-hour vocal breakthrough sessions, we create space to explore exactly that balance of finding freedom and emotional truth in your voice while still developing the technique that supports it. If that kind of support would feel helpful for you right now, I would love to work with you. You can learn more and book a session at reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. So we face something very unique as singer-songwriters, and that is we are not only singers, we are not only songwriters. We combine these two very vulnerable and exposing forms of art. We weave them together and it comes out our voice in the form of music. With our words, with our melodies, with our vocal imprint, like our signature, our humanity in the form of sound. So this feels incredibly vulnerable because not only are we singing and sharing our voice in its physical capacity, but we're also sharing our heart in the words we're singing, the stories we're singing, and the music itself came from inside of us. So this is a very unique form of expression. And we can start by writing, but that's all internal. You can explore your ideas alone, privately, by yourself. But then singing them, that means letting the song move through your body and out into the world. So yes, singing your own songs feels so vulnerable because not only are you revealing your voice, but you're also revealing your emotions, your words, your perspective on the world, your beliefs, your way of seeing things, your stories, your experiences, what you've been through in life and how you feel about it. So it's not just singing, which is enough in and of itself in terms of vulnerability, but you're being heard on a much deeper level. And that's a very human thing to feel afraid of. So what is the underlying fear of being heard? Well, it can be many things, but today I want to focus on one that I've struggled with myself over and over again. It's one of those things that rears its ugly head throughout the artist's journey. But over time, you learn to see it, to work with it, play with it, move around it. That is the fear of imperfection. Ah, yes. It's so funny that I teach about this stuff because these are also my struggles. But God has a funny way of making us go through these really tough challenges and struggles in our own journey so that when we go to teach it, we have so much to share. It's not just empty words. I have walked through this fear over and over again, this fear of imperfection. So a lot of people will come to me wanting vocal freedom, wanting to feel free in their voice, wanting to feel free when singing, and also creating. They want creative freedom too, to sing freely, but also create freely, express themselves freely, to write their songs with freedom. But there is this fear of imperfection that holds them back from that. Because how that manifests is that you try to control everything. You try to control your voice so much so that it'll do exactly what you want it to do and nothing more and nothing less. So that every note you sing is perfect. It's almost like you're forcing your voice to do something totally unnatural. Because that's true. It's not natural to be perfect. Your voice is human. It's part of the physical world that is imperfect. But this fear shows up in trying to control everything, controlling your tone, controlling your pitch, controlling your technique, controlling your emotion. But too much control can actually disconnect the voice from the feeling of the song. So what you're doing when you try to control your sound, you are moving from that embodied heart space and taking it all up into the head. So you get stuck up in your head and you keep checking yourself to make sure it sounds good or sounds the way it's supposed to sound. And rather than being fully immersed in the music and giving your voice over to the emotion of the music, you're getting caught up in your head and constantly checking yourself, thinking back to the note you just sang or the one you're singing right now and how you wish it was different, or fear of the note that's still to come. But you see what happens when you try to force the perfection is you lose connection with the whole reason you're singing in the first place, the whole reason you write songs in the first place. And that's the emotional connection. That's the humanity, the heart. So how do we surrender this control, this need to control your voice and everything that comes through it? I've found that the most powerful way to move through this fear is to give yourself permission to sing imperfectly. Some of the most moving performances are not technically perfect. Voices crack. The breath can be kind of shaky and the emotion shows through. Maybe not even just the emotion in the song, but the emotion of the artist in that moment, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. It's all there. It's all present. But what makes that so powerful is that there is emotional connection. Their phrasing is natural and real. There is sincerity in their tone. Your audience doesn't connect with perfection. They connect with truth. Yes, technique is important. It supports the voice. But technique serves the emotion of the song. That's what we work on technique for, so that we can fully translate the emotion through music, through our voice, and that we can make an emotional connection with the heart of our listener. So you do need both. You need the technique and the emotion to be fully present. With practice, you learn to balance the two. You learn to balance the technique with the emotion. And yeah, it's going to be shaky at times, but that's okay. That's your humanity showing through. Your technique grows stronger over time, but you have to leave space for emotional honesty. That is the heart of the music. So you don't have to sing your songs perfectly. Let's remove the performance pressure and this idea that what comes out of you must be perfect to make a connection. Because you don't have to sing it perfectly, and you don't even have to perform it publicly right away. Start with something simpler. Sing your song all the way through once, start to finish, without checking yourself or stopping and starting over again. Just sing it through with your heart in the emotional honesty of the song. Let yourself explore what it's like to just give your voice over to the music and let your voice be carried by the song without you having to steer it this way and that way. The balance comes with time, where you are able to navigate, to steer, if you will, while staying emotionally connected and fully expressing the feeling of the song. But to get to that place of balance, there will be a need to surrender control, to let go and allow the music to take over. Allow the music to carry you into that emotionally honest place that, yes, is vulnerable and yes, is revealing. But what we need as your audience, if we are to go along with you and to fully believe you, we need you to go there. Like, how can I say this? Only when you fully go there emotionally can your audience go with you. If you open your heart and pour it into your music and let it come through your voice and go all in, that opens the doorway for your audience to go with you. You take them on a journey. They feel what you feel. They are riding that wave with you. But that means you need to go first. Only when you fully believe what you're singing will your audience believe it too. So yeah, we need to fully surrender and go there. And the technique that you're working on, it will be there for you. Trust that your voice will be there for you. Trust your voice to carry you. Trust your technique to be there. And if it happens to fall away, what's left is emotional honesty and truth. And that we connect with immediately as humans. But over time, as you practice, your technique will more consistently be there when you surrender and let the emotion take over. A song doesn't fully come to life until it passes through your voice, until it moves through that bridge. It crosses that bridge that is your voice from your internal world to the outer world. So if you think of the voice as a bridge, sometimes it can feel like a rickety-rackety bridge. Some, old suspension bridge stretching across a deep, wide canyon. And the boards are all rotting and some of the handrail has fallen. And you feel exposed. You feel vulnerable. It doesn't feel safe. And you're walking across this bridge to get to the other side, wondering if you're ever going to make it, wondering if you're going to survive traversing this bridge. And singing our own songs can often feel a lot like that. But that bridge is so much stronger than you think, so much more resilient than you think. And there is so much invisible energy lifting you up as you sing, as you create. And that voice doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. And if you ever feel like you'd like support, exploring that balance between emotional freedom and vocal technique, that's exactly the work we do inside my vocal breakthrough sessions. I would love to guide you through this liberation so that you can experience what it's really like to sing with freedom and to express yourself in a way that is honest and true. I want that deeply for you. You can learn more and book a session at reawakenyourvoice.com/coaching. Thanks for listening, friend. If this episode moved you or inspired you in some way, would you please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or share this episode with someone who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough? Until next time, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.